Hi, everybody. It's Gloria Jean, Kelly Fisher, JoAnn Mason Parker here at Women in Pool. And today we decided to just get together. It's been a while since we've done that, since before the Women in Pool tournament. And just chit chat a little bit. Everybody's been super, super duper busy. Uh, Kelly's adding to her collection on a weekly basis. And JoAnn as well has been doing clinics and things of that nature. So it has been a little crazy. Just want to say hi to Carly, Timothy, Crystal. Thank you so much for the likes. If you guys want to send some stars, that would be greatly appreciated. If you do have some, and please, more than anything, share, share, share. Get us out there, please. It'd be so great. Hello back from Carly and Crystal. Um, so what I originally wanted to talk about was something that we had talked about before, and that was, kind of where we're headed. Um, this was in previous months. Kelly, probably maybe toward the beginning, right? Where women's pool was going and how it was coming back on track. But now that was then. Now we've actually gone through the tournaments, and now we have something to actually see, like before it was just before. Now we've gone through how many WPBA events have we gone through? Gosh, I want to
Well,
say
including
five,
the
six,
Predator Pro Billiard
and
series, I think we've
yeah,
gone through possibly seven, maybe.
seven, is it? Okay.
Maybe.
And then there's been a ton of events surrounding that. Matchroom, Predator, of course, Women in Pool, the one that we had over at Yale Billiards,
Mm-hmm.
which is an amateur event, 650 and below. So it seems that women's pool has been on the rise. We had the Ashton twins, right? The 20,000
Yeah.
added, right? That was great. Um, so it seems as though we're really just kind of we're not really stagnant anymore. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things. This is definitely women in pool, but is it okay that I bring up like a little question that is not about women in pool? And if you guys don't want to answer, I fully understand. As a player, this has nothing to do with what we were going to talk about, but as a player, I have my own solid thought. I don't think that I'll change it. It's swimming around in there since it happened. We don't like to talk about controversial stuff, but as a player, Shane Van Boning and Joey Tate. I personally will just give my opinion right off the bat. I do not think that Shane should have said anything. If the balls were there, this is a ranking system. This is big cash. Um, uh, the opponent, from what I had seen, not supposed to say anything when sitting in the seat. Um, it is a very sad thing. I want to also flip this around and say that Joey took it he was very graceful with it. He didn't stomp his feet like a child. And he owned up to it. And that's
Can
what makes
he,
a really great player right there.
right, I just want to say, I mean, I've read about it and I didn't actually see it yet, but I heard about it, of course, looking on Facebook and whatever. But I'll just say, let's just say what it was that happened so that people really who didn't see it know what it is we're talking about it. Is it all right if I say Joey
Yeah,
shot the wrong ball out of turn, correct?
right.
Mhm.
Right.
Correct.
So he was at the table. He shot the wrong ball out of turn. Those balls are the balls that they're using are not necessarily the balls that the players are all completely accustomed to and familiar with. We have so many different sets of balls out there now. And this is another totally different subject. And I'm sure, Kelly, you have your own opinions on that as well as I
Well, I'm
do.
going to interject for just a second, JoAnn. These balls have been used now in the Mosconi Cup in tons and
Mm-hmm.
tons of different places. And Joey did shoot what, 7 racks before that, so he was
Right.
accustomed to knowing which ball
Yeah.
was which. Just I'm not saying anything poorly about anyone. I'm just saying
No,
he
no,
did shoot 7 racks, so he
sure,
did
no,
know.
understood,
And again,
understood.
yeah,
Sure, but I mean, 7 racks is 7 racks, and you're in the spur of the moment, in the heat of battle, and it's not necessarily something that he himself is a young
Right.
kid, young guy.
yes, he is,
I
and
would
a very good
guarantee you,
player.
yeah, I know. I would guarantee you he has not played very much with those balls. I would love to bet that he hasn't, and that's why that mistake happened. And like my opinion, I agree with you. It's the person, the player at the table is responsible, because the person sitting in the chair, Shane, who's to say that he definitely was paying attention so clearly himself? And people are trying to maybe make it like he did something wrong. He maybe didn't notice it either. That can happen. So I
Right.
don't know. I give the benefit of the doubt to the person sitting in the chair for certain. I
Me
don't.
personally, I would have practiced with the set of balls, the type of cloth, the same size table that I'm going to be playing on prior to the event. That's me
You don't always
personally.
get that opportunity, though. I mean, I just played it out at the Predator tournament with Kelly and in Michigan, and I never played on that table ever before, or that cloth ever before. I had no opportunity to do that.
Right.
And
And
I
we don't want to
found
make
that,
this too controversial. I'm just
no,
looking for an
I
opinion
hear
as a
you.
player,
Sure.
who's up there in a ranking system, a point ranking system. If it's Kelly and Allison up there, what's going to
Mhm.
happen? If it's you and Kelly up there, what's going to happen? You know, and
I
we're
think it's,
women, and people are always saying women
yeah,
and men are so different. So, that's my personal opinion.
I
Kelly,
think,
if
yeah,
you, yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, Kelly,
I'll just finish and then let's throw it to Kelly. Is that all right?
absolutely.
Okay, so I think that it is the person at the table, the player's ultimate responsibility. And I'll just say this, I have had it happen where I've played in tournaments where it's foul on all balls. And I have actually told my opponent, you're leaning over, so be careful here. I've actually said that. Now I think I actually said it in a match with Kelly because her chalk holder was about to touch something.
Yeah, that's right. That rings a bell. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just me though. And I wouldn't look at anybody badly for not doing that.
Mhm, yeah.
Right,
But
right.
that's just me.
Right, but they're questioning Shane's morals here. When
Silly.
you know
Yeah.
he didn't call, like it's as though he didn't call a foul on himself, and that's not fair
No,
to
that's
Shane.
no.
You know,
Totally.
that's not, to me, that's not fair. So Kelly, your thoughts, because I know you're going to be ultra diplomatic in this.
Well, I do agree that it's ultimately the player's responsibility and not the opponent's responsibility sitting in the chair. Completely, Shane's done nothing wrong. The sportsmanship, what people are referring to, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. Like you said, JoAnn, he could have not even really been paying attention. I noticed that Joey was leaning over the table, kind of in Shane's view. I suppose he could have been just seeing where he wanted to reach for the next ball, and before you know it, he's hit it. You know, there's a lot of things it could have not been. I've had it happen to me where I think, I want to say it with me and Alison, but it might not have been, where that's kind of happened. She was going for the 2 ball and didn't see the 1. And I've stopped and said, the 1, you're missing the 1 here. I've done that. It might not have been Alison, it might have been somebody else, but I remember, I think it was in the Philippines, I want to say. And I've done that. But afterwards I thought, should I have done that? You know, it's not my responsibility to do that.
Right.
Would they have done that to me? And again, it's all questions we won't know the answer unless we're actually in that situation at that moment. And you as a player, you as a opponent, whichever side of the coin you are, you know, it's at that moment. Joey's made an error. The 2 balls, the 4 and 5, yes, they are opposite colours, if you like, to our normal sets. He probably has practiced with them, but still, when you start off, I mean, he's young, he's been playing all these years as a kid, and he's playing with the 4 and 5 being the opposite colour for years. And then, okay, maybe he's practiced for a month with these balls, and he knows in his head it's the wrong way around because he's had 7 racks. But at that moment, it's just been a mind blip, if you like. And there's nothing more or less with it, really. I got down to the wrong ball in match room 2. Was I didn't actually shoot it. I actually realised. And the funny story was when me and Alison were playing the World Cup of Pool in the doubles, she in practice, she kept going, leaving me on the wrong ball. And I said to her, pink, purple, you know, and we made a joke of it. And during the match against the Philippines, one time I whispered, pink, purple, pink, but just to remind her to get on the right ball. So if you're not used to it, even though she prepared before that tournament, playing with the right set of balls, it's not the norm. They are different. They're the only set of balls that them colours are different. So it certainly is something that if you, even if you practice with them, if it's 1 second in that one moment, it's just gone back to the what's the word I'm looking for? You know, the original starting point, like the yeah. Right. So basically, he's gone back to his default, if you like, for a split second. But I don't think Shane's done anything wrong. Again, some players might have stopped, some players might not. Probably most wouldn't. Would I have in that very moment in that event if I was Shane? I don't know, and I don't think anybody can say I definitely would, I definitely wouldn't, unless you know you definitely wouldn't. And I don't know if I would or wouldn't have in that moment. Probably not if I'm Shane, really. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's playing a professional sport at the highest level. It's the US Open, and at the end of the day, they're all in it to win it. We're all in it to win it when we're in a tournament, and he didn't do it on, you know, he's not thinking I'm not going to tell him because he might beat me here. If that had been rack number 1, he wouldn't have told him.
Right. And the other thing is, let's give Joey, you know, some credit here, because like I said, he walked away. He wasn't complaining about it. He wasn't, you know, why are they using this? Or like there was nothing poor that I saw anyway from Joey, with the exception. What was that?
Matchroom have been using them balls for quite a while now. So, you know, I mean, it's...
he was very graceful. He was very graceful. And another thing is, when we talk about, you know, when we're playing, he's playing a person that he looks up to so highly, right? And now there they are, tied 7 apiece. And his emotions are now, his adrenaline's getting to him, you know, and the only color that we don't have in another set is the pink one that we use. So the pink one is, you know, so he's looking at the purple. It's like, but you could see Shane, if you watch it, he's going like this right before Joey was shooting it. So it's almost like he's thinking to himself, in my opinion, I can't speak for him, should I get out of my chair and say something, or shouldn't I get out of my chair and say something? Because it's while he's getting ready to shoot the shot. It was at, and I can't think of the exact time, it was like 5 minutes and whatever it was in that little clip that they had up from Matchroom. So you see him doing this, and it almost looked as though he wanted to tell him. Otherwise, Shane would have just jumped out of his chair and said something. So we don't know what was going through anyone's mind at that time. I'm sure
it's not a nice predicament to be in.
No.
For either one. As a player, that's the worst thing you want to do. But as an opponent, you know, you are probably thinking, is he really taking that on, or is he just, you know, trying to see where he wants to leave the cue ball next? Or, and then, you know, shouldn't I? You don't know what to do, because you know that you don't want to win like that. But at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility to stop a player from giving you ball in hand.
And think of what's on the line, right? Points. This is the ranking system, is right?
Oh no.
Yeah. So we got points on the line. We have big cash on the line. And I remember, Kelly, going back some months, you had played Joey Tate, and he played very well. I remember that, because didn't you play?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure. I'm going to have to look it up, because I remember saying something, and you weren't quite familiar with him.
The main thing what I think that people forget is that, just to finish this off from my perspective, is that I think, and again, I can't speak for Shane or any other player, I think that even if that was rack 1, because people will be saying, because it was 7-7, it was putting Joey on the hill, maybe that's why Shane didn't tell him. But I think if that potentially was rack 1 or 2, that ultimately the same morals, the same opinion from me goes that, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, I don't know. But Shane has done nothing wrong, whether it were rack 1 or rack 15, by not actually stopping him. Is ultimately Joey's responsibility.
Right.
And again, Joey handled it, in my opinion, gracefully,
Yeah.
unless there's something that I missed, and I don't think that I had missed it. Someone said that Joey said that he never played with those balls before.
See?
Uh, so
That's,
Can I say something?
sorry, just to be honest with you, if he hasn't played with them balls before, I don't believe that for 1 minute, because he's played in matchroom events before.
Oh.
And secondary to that, then that's more fault him, really. That's silly, because at the end of the day, you've got a huge tournament. A set of balls are not expensive. You know, and if you're a professional player, why wouldn't you go out and have, I mean, I've got the Predator balls, I've got the matchroom balls, I've got the WPBA balls, you know, the regular Aramith, and, you know, I used to have the Cyclop balls when they were played with. So at the end of the day, you know, as a professional player, you have to do the best you can to get the equipment. Not everybody's fortunate enough to have a table, but if you've got a club, you ask them if you can put a cloth on it and you buy a cloth. Everything's, you know, you've got to put that into it to get out the maximum that you can if you're doing it professionally. If you're doing it for a hobby, that's totally different.
Right.
for a what?
Can I?
Hobby.
Okay.
May I say something here?
Yeah.
May I say something? I think actually what can get taken away by this experience, this should be a learning experience for all the organizations, really, whether it be the WPBA, the WPA, the you know, Matchroom, Predator, all of these different people that are involved in the sport right now. When something like this happens, there's a very easy solution here. The easiest solution here is the opponent sitting in the chair is not in charge of what goes on at that table. It's up to a referee. We have that when it comes to watching hits. It's not up to the person sitting in the chair. And we've discussed this all the time at the players meetings of the WPBA now that I've been at, where if you think there's going to be a problem, it's your responsibility as the player sitting in the chair to call a referee. Therefore, it's not your job then to tell your opponent anything at the table. And that should be stated as
rules, or I think it's in whatever rules it was in. Someone had posted it. I might have been Mark White, actually. Hi, Mark. And it specifically stated that the opponent is not to say something. I have to look where it. I have to look it to where it was.
So that's it.
A bunch of people are saying hello to you too, by the way. I'm going through the comments.
I want to say hi personally to Carly. I told her I would. Hey, Carly.
Carly's there.
We had a great time in Austria. So yeah, that was good fun. And Mark also. We had a great time in Austria too, and in Michigan with Mark. So anyway, hi to them too, and everybody else, of course.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
I'm
so
sorry.
if it's there already, it's there already. Then I don't know why people are getting their feathers ruffled.
Because they think that Shane is taking advantage of.
That's ridiculous. The rules are the rules. What are you supposed to do? Give him the whole. Nah.
You know, a child, a kid, or whatever words they
we all have to learn by experience. You know, we have to learn by experience. And like, if you read Shane's post, Shane wrote that. He said, you know, I've done it once before when I was younger, and it's never happened again. And Joey, it'll never happen again to Joey, you know, and that's exactly what we have to take from this, is that Joey wouldn't have gone through that and lost because of that. Potentially in the future that could have happened again. So therefore it's a learning experience that unfortunately we've all been through similar different things, you know, to create our experiences along the way as we get older. And Joey's just young, so it's you know, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt him. It's going to do him good. So I think that really there's not much more to say.
Yeah. So I was really just curious as to both of us, or all three of us, you two and myself, being female players, you being obviously professional, what you would have done, because I don't, you know, for me, if I were to play, my top prize is probably going to be $400, you know, and I'm not here in a point system or anything else at all. So, you know, what would you have done? And I truly believe in my heart of hearts that A, Shane did not do anything wrong. B, Joey walked away with like he walked away like a mature adult. And you know, C, was definitely, you know, lesson to be learned. There's some rumors going around about what Emily Fraser is saying. But these are just rumors, and that's why I don't like it, because if you read something someplace, you read something someplace else. They're contradictory. That's why I just want to put it out here. And if anybody wanted to respond for themselves, then that's what I do. I don't want to say, you know, I didn't read Shane's post. I don't believe I read Shane's post. But I could see where Shane would be coming from, but I did see the video, like I said, that clip of the video from Matchroom. So anyway, I just wanted to know, they were always talking about how males and females think differently. I think that females obviously tend to be more, you know, forgiving, or, you know, more friendly in the situation, because you said you probably, maybe, you don't know for sure, but maybe you would have said something to Allison. You've mentioned that you have in the past, Kelly, right? You know, the only thing that I see to be poor is if you shoot and you know that you've committed a foul and you do not call a foul on yourself. I find that to be absolutely just the poorest.
That goes without
poorest
saying.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. No
I
doubt.
did, just to say, at the Predator 10 ball event in Michigan, the WPBA one, I actually in the final committed a foul and I didn't know. And I was playing Wei Chen from Taiwan, and obviously we're friends off the table. And afterwards, after the final had finished and I won the final in the shootout, the Taiwanese were messaging her, you know, and saying it was a foul. And the video camera, the video TV went close, zoomed in, and it clearly was a foul. And basically, without going too into detail, I'm regretful of that, but I was completely unaware. But the funny part of it is why I was unaware. So I'm leaning over for the 3 ball over a 7 ball, and the 7 ball is under, I'm going to just point and not say the word, under here, right? Well, unbeknown to most people, and we are live and I probably shouldn't say this, but I've not got any feeling. So I'm over that thought, right? And there it is, clear as day that I'm touching it there. And I absolutely didn't have a clue. So afterwards, I didn't know, nothing was said. The finals finished. We've gone for dinner. I think it was a day later. She said to me, did you know that you fouled? And I said, when? Fouled? No, of course not. Why? You know? And we talked about it. She showed me that. And a lot of people in Taiwan were messaging her saying, you know, Kelly fouled her. And what she wrote back to them is just basically, if Kelly was aware of it, she'd have definitely owned up to it.
We know your morals and integrity, Kelly. There's no questioning that.
100% I would have. I've never, to my knowledge, fouled and not. But how bizarre that we're talking about that. And yeah, I actually did a foul. I lost that right, which makes me feel better. But I actually,
well, there you go.
Do a foul in one shot, and I didn't know, didn't have a clue.
Well, the other thing is I wholeheartedly know this, but when I've watched your videos too, Kelly, and it was one of the finals. I cannot remember which one. It was one of the more recent finals. I saw you sitting there in your chair, and you're just kind of just almost emotionless, really, to be quite honest, which is a good thing, right? That's what we want. And
I need to learn to be more like that.
Your hands are pretty much the same way, like that. And then they move to the side of the chair like this, and you're sitting there and your opponent's shooting, and it was a female, ended up missing the shot, and in the background you went, oof, like you truly felt like bad for the person. And I went, wow, look at that, you know, because the camera's not on your face, it just happened to be on your face past where they're looking at your opponent shoot. And I went, oh, and I thought to myself, Kelly actually is like, oh, you know, you get back up to the table and you're like, you're happy at the same time, but it's, it's sad when you see somebody that you're friends with or close to, missing a ball at the same time. You have to capitalize on that because they missed it. There's nothing you can do to turn back now. Just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely, well, everybody who plays has got the competitive edge in them. There's never 1 minute where I'm not out there to win. And if an opponent misses, I'm on that table and I'm stamping my feet on you as much as I can. But, but yeah, I mean, the difference with men and women are definitely women. I think the word for it is emotional. Our emotions are at a higher level. They overtake sometimes. And I think that's why a situation where I may have said, oh, you're shooting the wrong ball. That's my emotion doing that, not my brain, and that women are definitely a bit more emotional. And there you see my face, but the minute that my brain clicked in, it's like, right, let's go. So, we toy with emotions and the brain, and we have to find that balance and try and get the emotion out the window a little bit more and keep the brain focused. And I think that's the difference, really. And I think that's where you maybe see the instance where I'm saying I told my opponent they were shooting the wrong ball. Again, that was my emotion that come out before I had a chance to think, oh, I shouldn't have to do that,
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep.
Yes. So our original topic was nothing about this, but I said I have to at least bring it up. It's taken up the half hour, but I really just want to know, what would you do? And I truly believe, as Kelly said, you're not going to know until that very last second. And then even if you do say something, you'll regret it potentially immediately. Or if you don't, you'll regret it, and it might hurt. You never ever know what you would do, and you never ever know what the outcome would be should you do it or should you not do it. Like, once you do, you think to yourself, what if I didn't? I didn't. What if I did? So,
ultimately, I think the main thing to point out is that Shane hasn't done anything wrong. And
exactly.
People that
definitely.
People that think he has, from another player, my personal opinion is just that, that's quite being tough on him, because at the end of the day, what a lot of players, or whether it's amateur, social players, or even some of the professionals, what they forget is that at the end of the day, we're out there to play in it. We're playing a tournament. You're out there to win. And Shane doesn't want to win like that. Don't get me wrong, but he wants to win. And the opponent's made an error, whether it's an error missing a ball or whether it's an error hitting the wrong ball. The opponent's responsible for that. Just like missing a ball, he's responsible for hitting the right ball,
Right.
And that's ultimately it. Shane would rather have won by him missing a ball, of course, because it's very awkward, is this kind of thing. But hey ho, who can predict?
So, right. I mean, and JoAnn can relate to it because your son plays golf, right, JoAnn?
My son used to be a golfer. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he played through high school.
So if he's swinging not toward the hole and not in a specific part, are the people behind him supposed to say, look, hey buddy, guess what? The hole's on the other end. It's just not something that's just normal to do.
On a golf course, the thing about also on a golf course, the way we have on a pool table, you don't have referees every minute at the table. In golf, I remember my son playing in a tournament and he double hit a putt by accident. So that counts as 2 strokes. He called it on himself.
Yeah.
Nobody else realized it, but he did. He knew it. So he called it on himself. That's what you're supposed to do. Like Kelly said, you make a foul. If you're aware you make a foul, you call it on yourself. It's the right thing.
Right. If you're aware, then that's the key. Exactly.
If you're unaware, that's different. That can happen. It can 100% happen. You're not, especially now. And I have a little bit of an issue with this, having it be foul on all balls when you don't have a referee at the table watching all the time. And that's where I think is it. And honestly, Kelly, I think what happened in that finals, that never should have happened. How honestly, and I think Predators do incredible things for the sport, but I will say they're a little short in this department. There should be, if you're going to have foul on all balls, you need to have a referee at the table. Back in the day,
we had a referee.
Was there a referee there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, but okay, so that was in the finals, but yeah, but you're right. And I did even commentate. You're absolutely right. I didn't realize it. You know why I didn't realize it? Because he doesn't stand around the table in the manner in which I was used to when I grew up, when I watched the straight pool back in the day when my dad was playing. And I would go to these world championships in New York City, and they had real referees that would be watching every possible angle of the player at the table. Okay. There was almost never an issue like this because they were right there. They were watching. If the player was leaning over a bunch of balls or a stack of balls and bridging, they made sure that there was no other balls touched, and they were there to call it. And it was never on the players themselves to worry about any of that, because there was a third not biased person that was there to handle it.
In snooker, the same. We have referees, and don't get me wrong, it's all ball fouls. I've grew up with all ball fouls because snooker is that, regardless of a referee or not. However, like if you have no referee and you're leaning over a ball whether it's a man or woman, but it is a responsibility of the opponent sitting in the chair to grab a referee and say, "Can you watch this?"
Exactly. If you think that there's a potential for a foul, if you see someone leaning over and the shirt, it's all ball, and the shirt might touch or hair might do something, I mean, that's all ball foul. I was told in the Joss tour when I played, get a scrunchie for your hair right now, or we're going to call it on you. I was like, whoa, okay. Got my hair, threw it right back. I was really, diligent in that. Yeah. So when you do, yeah, I agree 100%.
How do you think I've got my hair cut like this?
Oh gosh.
Listen, Kelly, that's not an excuse. If you want to have long hair, you could just do what I do and you could just put it up all the way up in a hideous bun.
I used to have long hair.
In a hideous bun.
You can do that.
Yeah, tell you the truth, I just had my hair cut and she's cut it a bit too short. But yeah, I used to have long hair when I played snooker. I had long curly hair.
Really?
Okay, well, we have to get a picture of this, Kelly. Where are they?
There's
really?
No,
come on.
Down here.
No, yeah. Really?
And the fashion back then was a bit like now. You sprayed the front up and the curls come here, and you sprayed the side out there and the curls come here. And I had a spiral perm. Oh my Lord. Oh, when I think back.
What year? Wait a second. What years were that? When was that?
It was, I started playing when I was 12, 13. So I must have been about 14. I was a teenager when I got the perm because my mum didn't want me to.
I should
bring that the year. What year was that? 90? When was that?
92.
92.
So we're talking about like Cyndi Lauper and girls just want to have fun days.
Yeah.
I have a picture of myself. People did not know it, where I had my head shaved underneath the hair.
Oh,
so
flock of seagulls. The flock of seagulls did this.
Yes. I have my hair shaved underneath on just on one side of my head. I have a picture of that. And yeah, to me, I was always just out of the box. I've always just been unorthodox, and it's like I have a meme, but it's like this. It's like me fitting in anything.
Kelly, I'm so shocked by you telling me about your long curly permed hair. I need to see it. I've got to see it.
That's me. A circle and a bunch of squares. I just never have. But yeah. Now, Kelly, I just want to see that because I'm ready to get my perm. I had my perm going on.
When I played, I used to tie it up, but even after the perm thing, I used to tie it, obviously, like we're talking about the all ball fouls. So yeah. I mean, I've got pictures where it's tied up, like what you just did, JoAnn, with your hair. That's what reminded me. So, yeah.
There you go. Gotta do it.
Many moons ago.
So funny.
Okay. So, all right. So for the next, just say 5 minutes, let's just really go with, we were talking about what was to happen how many WPBA events were lined up. Kelly was excited about that. Now they've come to fruition, a very vast majority here. Predator has stepped up the game, the games, the matches, everything, formats, match room. Everybody has just been doing fun and exciting things, not just different things. They're fun and exciting, right?
For sure.
You have to, everybody has their opinion, but for me, to take the spot shot, like, that was really just genius. I love it because that's just so much pressure and you have to perform, and that's the end of it. So it looks like women's pool, in both of your opinions, women's pool, when was it at its best during your careers?
Oh.
In comparison to now.
Well,
JoAnn, I'll go first, only because I'm older than you, so you'll heir to your elder right now. And because I
I'm even older than Kelly. Kelly's the baby now. This is, oh my gosh. Take my picture off the stream.
So, I mean, I had this short but nice career before I had my son. So from the time I was 17 till I was 27 when I had 27 when I had my boy. But at that time, when I was 17, The Color of Money had just come out. And that kickstarted pool in America in a very big way again. And we saw all those pool rooms opening, and the tour just really took off. And then a couple of years later from that, the WPBA got Gordon's Gin involved, and they got 12 tournaments. And then there were these other invitational tournaments at the same time that were happening. So the last couple of years I played were, for me, the best. And I did my work for Orville Redenbacher Popcorn. So that was an enormous thing to do something out of the industry. That was, and Ava had that No Nonsense Pantyhose commercial, and she was on the cover with the New York Times. I mean, that was enormous, all these things that were going on. And
JoAnn's our little, like, Wikipedia. I like how you name in Wikipedia.
Well, these are really special things that occurred, and they really were something. I mean, Ava to get that commercial with No Nonsense, this was all at the same time. It all kind of started with Steve Mizrak getting the Miller Lite commercials, because that was like the first of out of the industry stuff happening.
But how is that comparing to now? Do you think that women had it better then or now?
I think it's different. I think what I'm seeing, it's different. What I think is more
exciting. It's an evolution, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's not better or worse. It's an evolution of sorts.
Yeah,
yes?
It's growing. I think it's growing. I think we're seeing a lot of beautiful growth in the sport. I think you are having, I think the hugest part is that we're seeing the juniors and what's going on now, and that these junior players have actual events and that they play together, the boys and the girls. That's remarkable. I think it's only going to make the girls better. You're going to see more and more top players as females. That's my prediction.
I will agree with that. Kelly, thoughts?
I agree with that. I also would like to see a girls junior and a boys junior separate, because I just think a bit like how I feel about men and women, and we've talked about this before. I think it's great to play together, not a problem. But I think ultimately, as females or girls, we warrant and deserve our own championships, and it should be just highly respected as the men's world champion. Just like in tennis, you've got Serena Williams, and they've got their own tournament, and the men's have got their own Wimbledon, and the women's have got theirs. So I think that every sport has to have a separate world championship, including juniors, and then play together. And it's great. Of course, it will only improve the young girls. I did the same when I was young, playing snooker with the guys, and it can only improve your game. So we've got some exciting future. We've got a really exciting future to look forward to watch these young ones coming through, because things are setting in place now for them. And, I think it's going to really push the future of our sport. I mean, at one point, that was a concern that we all had, simply because there weren't enough going on for the juniors, especially in America, to be honest. But now we're seeing an influx of tournaments for them, which I think it's just fantastic, and it's something that I personally want to get involved in and push more too as I begin to, later, not now, but as I begin to, certainly slow down, if you like, or if when I retire, that'd be the juniors would be definitely something that.
Yeah, you work a lot with the juniors, and this might be something that Matchroom or Predator might scoop up now that you've said that, or maybe it's something that's already in transition that we don't know anything about. That's forthcoming. Who knows?
Moment to really be able to put 100% into anybody else. I mean, that sounds really selfish, but as far as whether we help juniors, whether we help other players, or teaching, I'm finding it hard to find the time to actually do much teaching now.
No, you said that when you said later on that's something that you would want to do.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right, but I'm saying that your thought of having the separate men's and women's juniors, male, female, might be something now that can come to fruition because of what you were just saying. And then I was saying that maybe it already is in process and we just don't know it.
Yeah, but I think it's great. Nevertheless, it's beginning. It's there's a starting point here, and it's beginning, and it can only get better and keep improving.
Yes.
Which it's the backbone. It's the future of our sport. So we need to push that. Regarding you asked about the best time, I've found that since playing pool, 2004, I come to America, and since playing pool, it's gone like this for me, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that. It's really bizarre because when I arrived in America, we had 8 events. All the events were all in casinos, ESPN, and it was fantastic. I qualified, me and Val qualified, and off we went. And it was at a peak then.
The book?
Then, unfortunately, the 2007, when the crash come, and then we started to see less and less tournaments, and then China picked it up, and I was in China all the time, and their prize money were even higher. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, wow, if you can do well over here, although the action was even tougher, like there's so many of them, the Chinese players playing, the action was very tough, but certainly improved my game. And the prize money was great. And all of a sudden we had event after event after event in China. I felt like I was there 6 months out of the year, some years. And then again, obviously, excuse me, that started to go take a downward turn just before COVID. Then we had COVID, so boom, we're all the way down again. And here we are going back up, and China's not even opened yet. So I'm very curious to see when China opens up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
that's going to be crazy.
Because they promote the women pretty much more than the men, if I hope I'm not speaking wrongly there, but I don't mean promote them more, but they have more events.
More events, yeah.
Maybe that's because Allison and I introduced American pool to the Chinese audience 28 years ago.
Well, there you go. You never know.
Maybe that's why.
I know. I was
the funniest thing.
I wish I was part of that. I can't even begin to tell you. I had somebody.
That was Q-Tech that brought that over. That because they were huge involved with getting all of that rolling over there.
In China.
Yeah. Sorry, Curtis was just grabbing something for me here. I wanted to show everybody. Kelly's gonna kill me, but not that. But thank you. But speaking of, let me take a look here. Ga-Young Kim. Ga-Young Kim she's from Seoul, Korea. But this is my 2007 WPBA book, and there's Monica and Ga-Young, and look who I got there. Wow. Kelly's like that's when you lived in North Carolina. Turned pro 2005. This is 2007. I keep this book. This is like my I love this book. I didn't get Ava's signature. I'm so disappointed that I didn't go to her. But there's Allison. But JoAnn was nowhere to be found in this.
No, I wasn't
Jen.
playing.
JoAnn was
No.
bringing up a boy, so
Yes, and that would be a valid reason. I think that's a reason, right? For sure.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of greats in here. Gosh, Gerda, Ava, even Sarah was back in
yeah.
here. Julie
Sarah's
Kelly.
playing again. Sarah,
Oh, here's a great player.
do you mean Sarah?
Talk about amazing players. Ga Young King and Chao Ting Pan. Wow. Love Chao Ting Pan. Amazing. Is it? It's a pronounce shouting. You know me and how I pronounce anything. So
she's in China. I mean, it's phenomenal that when she come to America, she was obviously a very well-known, great player. But like Jeanette Lee is in the US, if you go to China and you have shouting, it's like that, but even obviously the population is bigger, so it's even bigger. I mean, she opens buildings, she opens businesses, and like Jeanette, she has to go out with a hat on so people don't stop her. And
wow,
it's unbelievable. We once were going to a KTV, and she had to scurry in a hat with a scarf on, and it was there I am just walking down the street and nobody has a clue. And she's
hysterical.
Superstar over there, but I don't believe she's playing anymore.
Oh,
I don't believe she's playing anymore. I know she had some neck issues and back issues. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's playing still a little, but she certainly weren't playing in the tournaments of the latter China events that I played in. So,
wow.
The very first pro I ever met was Karen Kaur, and that was way before. That was before 2007. And then I met when I had that exhibition or whatever you want to call it, just to play Ga Young Kim and Melissa Little, and Melissa had no mercy on me. At least Ga Young Kim, when she got down to the 9 ball, she tried to bank it and give me some type of chance, and then I was like, wow, really? I'll go 2 banks. And then she's like, really? Well, let's just go 3 banks. And we just went back and forth. She definitely let me win. There's no doubt about that. But I gotta tell you, that was probably the most fun I had ever had in pool. And then that was before this. I have that on my wall. That was before this. And then I met her here while she was signing autographs, and some great time, I have to say. But anyway, I just wanted to get opinions on what is it? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Is that even the name of the book?
Yes.
I'm not an avid
Men
reader.
are from Mars, women from Venus. Yes.
I wanted to know, what would Kelly do? What would JoAnn do? And the answer is the same as probably most people. The majority, I think, would not really know at that particular second. So we're going to come up with a really great topic. I'm going to ask the audience a question for a giveaway. I'm going to do 30 seconds instead of 45 for a giveaway. And let's see, what shall I give away? I shall give away a clear bridge, okay? And the question is, oh, great. Now I lost my feed. And there it is. Okay. Kelly, it's the question about snooker. You have 30 seconds to answer it. You and I had talked about that today. Transition snooker.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so 30 seconds from the time Kelly finishes the question for a clear bridge.
I believe I've already mentioned the year, but what year did I transition from snooker to American pool?
From snooker. Kelly, don't kill me. All right, 30 seconds for someone to get this. I could see everybody just like totally. Huh? Yes. Yeah, we'll put an additional few seconds on there. All right. I'm looking. I'm watching. This tells me it's going around and around. Anybody? 1996, 1992, 2009. People just throwing numbers at 2007. Time's up, though. time's up by like 5 seconds.
Unbelievable. I already mentioned it. In 2004, I moved to America to play 9-ball pool.
Okay. And
Gloria mentioned it that I become professional in 2005 after qualifying, which we had to do back then for a year to get onto the WPBA.
Tom wrote 1992 was when she had a perm, so that's what you're known for. So 2005, and I put this book up intentionally so that they could see that 2005 was when she turned pro. So that was giving them a little bit of a hint. I tried to give you guys a little bit of a hint. Who was closest to 2004?
2004.
It depends on if you go up or down. I'll figure something out. Carly said bugger. Ha ha ha. Bah. I must have come in late. Oh, Kyle, I'm sorry.
Carly should know that.
I was 4 years out. I hope I'm not breaking any friendships here. I hope I'm not breaking any friendships, Carly. All right. Let's have another question just for the fun of it. What is the name of Kelly Fisher's dog? Somebody knows it. Everybody knows this. And then we're going to do one with JoAnn.
I don't know it.
Carly knows this one.
Come on. I need Allison pick an autograph. I have Kelly's already. Yes. Okay. Do I get a prize? Carly, come on, everybody.
Carly knows this.
Carly, yes. Baby. Yes, Carly. That is it. There's a little bit of a lag. She said I had a brain fart, baby. All right. What year did JoAnn Mason Parker become a nominee for the Hall of Fame, the BCA Hall of Fame? 30 seconds for Clear Bridge. Go.
I don't know. Ding.
So this is without going over. Should be a winner. No, that's not what we said in the beginning, though. 2010, 2022, 2013. Time's up. JoAnn?
Last year, 2021.
Kyle said it. Kyle, it's too late, even with the 3 seconds or 5 seconds. 2021, because I interviewed JoAnn for that.
Yes, you did.
Yep. It was in our interview. These are things that if you guys would pay attention, you'd have.
I remember now. I do know that, actually.
Yes. Yep. All right. So that'll be the end. I'm not doing a Minnesota goodbye. Oh, and by the way, Carrie Palmer, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I apologize. It looks like it's Ciska, so maybe Kiska or Siska, said that there's something going on now with the juniors being separated. She had said that earlier. So, okay, so I guess this is already started. Everybody, Kelly, we're going to try and get Kelly, JoAnn, and I want some of the women who are amateurs to come in also for the next one, and then we'll go back to professionals, and, you know, we want everybody that we can get in here, any women in pool in here. But I want to thank Kelly for taking time out of her busy day, JoAnn as well. Thank you to all the sponsors, the viewers. We appreciate you. Yes, they're rocking it in Virginia. Okay. For coming and saying hi to us. Thank you for all of your opinions. Everybody's opinion counts. And we shall see you probably in a couple of weeks, maybe. We'll just go with that, depending on who's going to be here as well. It's always that surprise, that pop up. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day, and
Gloria.
yes, and
Kelly.
we'll see you soon. Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye. Bye.